Welcome back to episode 67. 67.
Nice, you got there.
I'm Zan. As always, with me is my best friend, Jeremy Eroni.
Hey, so good to be here. He usually says it right. That was interesting. Yeah, I mean, me, Mox Jeremy on Twitter. Good to be here. Good to be here. And who else is with us?
Nathan,
Hey guys,
a friend of the podcast,
Nice.
a co-host,
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Two titles.
one of the best friends, and then we also got this panda.
And we found a panda bear. Ryan, of course, went on a week-long catamaran cruise starting last week on Monday. So he'll be back tomorrow and we'll get to know him and stuff. And he'll be back on the podcast next week.
Yep, he will be back. But for now, enjoy the panda.
All right, let's do some bullet points. What are we talking about this episode? 3 bullet points and then a butt first.
We're gonna talk about the updated rewards that they announced for the DLC previously. We're gonna talk about our buying experience for the DLC Richmond and how that went. And then we're gonna talk about general metagame stuff. Talking about some results and what we're thinking about the metagame right now.
All right, but first, a word from our sponsors.
Hey.
Yay!
Woo!
Everybody check out Pro Play Games and specifically check out the Pro Play Games Summit in Orlando. That's this December, December 12th through December 14th. This is a huge series of tournaments that hosts a total of $65,000 in combined prize pool across all games, including Disney Lorcana, boom, Cookie Run, oh yeah, and Riftbound. We really want to highlight the Cookie Run Bravers tournament on Saturday. It's the first ever North American Champion Cup. First place receives a ton of stuff. They get a trophy. They get a playmat. They get a promotional card. The promotional card says North American Champion. They get 8 booster boxes of Age of Heroes and Kingdoms, Cookie Run Brick Collection Balloon Dock, Flight and Hotel to Worlds in Seoul, South Korea. Whoa. And a 2025 Champion Cup promo. Disney, Lorcana, Riftbound, and Cookie Run were going to be streamed all weekend, so you got a chance for glory there. For Lorcana, there's a 10K on Saturday. It's cash prizing on site. Pretty good. And then there's going to be a 5K on Sunday, which will be Infinity format. This one is, of course, brought to you by Player's Choice Games Accessories. Tickets still remain, but not for long.
Awesome.
Snag them while you can get them.
Get them while you can get them. That's our sponsor. That's it. The Purple Game sponsor. Let's get into the episode and the content. We usually start with the metagame. I think this time we're starting with something different. We're gonna do some news.
Yeah.
Mix it up. Our latest item on the docket news is Disney Ravensburger has announced that they will be paying out retroactively and going forward prizes to people who bubble. That is, got the same record as somebody that made top 32, but they didn't make top 32. So in your case, it would be Utin and Tude. So you got a new prize. You got the Elsa promo card.
Yep, the foil one. Yep.
That you bubbled out of. What's the reaction to this news? This is good news, right? This is what we wanted, half of what we wanted.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, I want to say thank you so much, Ravensburger, for, responding in a positive way. I mean, the types of messages I got about a bubbling situation and, majority of the people who were in the position were people who had not had this type of prize before. And so for them to have like made it to the record that's supposed to get it and not get the appropriate prizes, it was like devastating, right? And the type of messages I got, I was just like, dang, I just don't want people to have that type of experience, because it's like, imagine like it's 2 grueling days and you're like, I got the result, but you didn't. And obviously you paid so much for travel and stuff, and you expect when you get the record that you get the reward, and it's not there. And I really felt for a lot of these players who are, on the come up, that have been grinding locals, that are trying to make it to the next level. And yeah, so the response was definitely correct. But I do feel like I have a responsibility to talk about it from the top 32 perspective, top 32 bubble perspective, not not only for myself, but for these people who have, reached out to me and feel like they don't have a voice in the situation. The sentiment is definitely that if the choice was given, they wouldn't take the foil Elsa. They would prefer the invite to Continentals.
Mhm.
Just because, you know, you want, like, when you're playing at the local level, you want to make it to date. Like, if when I'm like coaching people and or talking to people who want to get to the next level, they're like, "Oh, I want to make day 2 of a DLC." Once they make day 2 of a DLC, it's like, "Okay, I want a top 64. I want a top 32. I want to play in Continentals, and then I want to get to Worlds." Right? And everything is in those steps. And so a lot of these players who have reached maybe the top 64 before, or haven't reached there before but thought that they had, want to have an opportunity to play at the highest level. And so, you know, I think about it from the standpoint of a player I got to meet on day 1, at the end of day 1, which was Aiden, who ended up making it to top 16. I mean, he's a kid who doesn't have as many opportunities as adults do, and if he was someone who had bubbled and then didn't get a chance at redemption, I just feel like those are the type of people, those are the stories that we're not hearing about. And we just we should just really look at it from that standpoint of, we want to find out who the best players are and who, like, is, like, in this unknown territory and got to the position. Because what's the real difference between someone who was 10-2 and got 32nd place, and as opposed to 33rd place
Mhm.
or 31st or 30th? There's not really any difference in terms of them defeating their opponents, besides the things that we had previously stated about someone who may have gotten a bye is more likely to be in a better position.
And we did play a little bit of Mythbusters on my space last week. I promise I'm not trying to just shield my space all the time. But in my space, Justice was like, I did the math, and a buy is actually bad for your tiebreaker. And of course, everyone who's been playing card games forever was like, no, it's good. And we ran a simulation tournament. It was actually run by Albert.
Yep.
I mean, snobby judge. That's crazy, right? Ran a simulation tournament, gave a player a buy in round one, and he consistently for the rest of the tournament had just the best tie breaks.
Yeah,
So the
and
buy is really good for your tie break. And Justice even had to concede. He was like, oh, yeah. I mean,
he did it on Melee and on PlayHub, right?
yeah, he did on Melee and PlayHub.
Yes. I mean,
It might have just been PlayHub on my space.
oh, when you told me about it, you said both, but
Maybe it was just, I
who
don't
knows?
know.
I
Yeah.
did a recording for it, so we could look at it
Okay.
later.
All right.
Fact checks. I think it was both.
I think it was both, but I don't want to get fact checked. It doesn't matter because the thing happens on PlayHub. So
It
he
does
did it on
happen on
PlayHub,
PlayHub. That's the one that
and-
matters.
that's what we're using.
Yeah.
It is good for your breakers, so that's not good.
I always want to, try to do my research and try to get to the bottom of it, because there was the sentiment that was floating around, like, oh, it's bad for your tiebreakers. And I was like, that's what people are saying,
Yeah.
but it's not true.
Nope. We did full myth busters and myth busted. It is good for your tiebreakers.
But yeah, back to the original point. I just want to make sure before this happens again that, like, we're just getting into the part where everybody's getting what they earned, right? And I think that a 10-2 record definitely deserves to be at Continentals, because the chances of a player being able to repeat that is very, very slim. As a player who has repeated it, I'm telling you, like, I personally do not know if I'm gonna be able to do it again. Like, I really just don't know. It's that difficult.
yeah.
Like, like, and I'm one of the people that could take it for granted, and I'm not taking it for granted. Every time it's happened to me, I have felt very lucky. Like, it's preparation meets luck. And even if I'm the most prepared person in the world, sometimes the luck isn't meeting you, because at the end of the day, we're shuffling a deck and there's a luck element to it. But it's the prepared player that's going to take that luck and, you know, and run with it. So there's a baseline of luck that's required to get there. And, through the course of a season or course of your career, it we don't talk about it often, but sometimes you don't get the luck when you are prepared. And sometimes um you're not prepared and you get the luck, and then you have actual misplay moments, and those are learning moments. And so, you want to go to each of these tournaments and say you did everything you can. And when you do get the magical number of 10 and 2, we should reward that,
Sure.
and and give those people an opportunity to, you know,
Play in continent.
exactly, which I think is such a big deal.
So Nathan, you're new at this. You're newer at card games. Perspective on everything Zan's been saying?
Yeah, I know that if I was in that position, it would be devastating. The best way that I can compare it in my, like, I guess, short career would be in Dallas. I'm 4-0. I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Oh, I'm in." I'm basically locked for day 2. Yeah, that was everybody thought I was gonna get in. Then I have a split, coulda called a judge situation. And then I face Sailor. Love Sailor, but I drop my deck in front of him. I'm all frazzled. But talking about, like, an experience where that wasn't as bad as that would be like I did go 5 and 4 and then I bubble out. So I think you're really right about, like, a lot of people have this was their, like, first bite at the apple. Like, you've been there before and you're probably, like, everyone's gonna assume, "Oh, Zan's gonna get there again," but, like, it's not easy to get there. But a lot of these other players, like, this could be the first time and last time that they're able to hit that record to try to get into continentals. And so I think it is a big opportunity for Ravensburger to be like, "We already extended the other invite, I mean, the cards, and I think they should just extend the invites." I think it's simple, it's kinda free, um, and I hope they do it because it's like it to me, it just feels it's just like the cards, really free for them to do, and it'll make a lot of people happy.
Yeah, talking about the 5-4 record, that season 1, that was a major difference, was that when you got the record, you knew you were in. There wasn't a person who was missing out on 5-4. That just wasn't happening.
Mhm.
So, you had a bit of assurance in terms of once you got the record, you were relieved. It wasn't like when I did it in Vegas or I did it in Atlanta or I did it in Toronto, wherever the tournament was, I was never like walking around like, "Oh my god, am I gonna make it or am I not gonna make it?" I was like, I made it. I hope my tiebreakers are good so I can be on the play." But every single time my tiebreakers were really bad and I was
Yeah.
always on the draw.
So, I mean, there we can't just I don't know if I think that a best of 2 tournament where the records are like that and you're guaranteed to make it when you have the record is still much worse than a best of 3 tournament with a small bubble.
We don't have to make it all the way there. Basically, it's like the the small bubble. It's like one of those situations where you're like, it's not gonna be me, and that was like, I hope it's not me,
Right.
right? Whereas, why have why have these stories? We had a system that didn't have that problem, and we can still do that with best of three. It just takes a little bit of tweaking.
Would more rounds be also a solution?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
100%. I mean, so we can look at. I mean, our background is Magic,
Our background is Magic.
right? So the Magic number there was 13-2.
13 and 2 means you're in top 8.
You're in top 8,
Yep.
right? And the cut was more. It was more rigorous,
Yeah.
but at the same time, majority of players in that tournament had two buys. Basically, based off of playing in your locals, you could uh, earn points based on beating your opponents, and those points accumulated into buys at DLC level events.
The Grand Prix.
Exactly.
And then Star City Games had an even more like I don't know if you want to say insular or something, but it rewarded the Star City Games like elites or whatever because they had a leaderboard, and if you were top 32 on the leaderboard, you had 2 buys, and if you were Zan Syed, you had 3 buys.
Yeah. So in that one, it was
That's just true.
16
Aw.
to 32 was I mean 17 to 32 was one buy,
1 buy.
and then 1 through 16 was two buys.
Yeah.
And then if you finish with the most points over the course of the year, you were the player of the year. And I was player of the year in 2019, so I got three buys.
Okay, so question for me. even with all, because we've talked about buys in the past, right? And buys have been not properly like handled and it's messed up the math. But even with all, let's say these buys in the Magic tournaments or the tournaments that you guys have played in, you could still have that like guaranteed record that you would know that you're in. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
13-2
13 and 2 made
for
you right.
top
Even
eight.
even with all of these like injected buys. So it's like obviously there was maybe a better handling of some of like I guess the math side of things on the tournament running. That's just kind of interesting to me.
And it was set up to reward good players. Like if somebody like did do something good on tie, like they made top 32 on tie breaks, which was the money or whatever, and they got the 2 buys, there's a part of you that at least goes like, well, at least they like earned it by being like one of the top 32 players or
I
whatever.
will say that Magic system, I'm not saying was perfect. Top 8 is too rigorous.
Yeah.
And what I love about what they did in Lorcana is top 64.
Mhm.
But we took it back.
Yeah, we went back down to top 32, which feels like a little bit of a downgrade.
Exactly. So, like, for example, in this situation, if we made it top 64, that's one more round, but it's like life changing in terms of your chances at making it, right? If you are a 6-2 record going into day 2,
Everybody at X and 2 is gonna make it.
and if you were to bubble from that position, that is totally
That's fine because you
understandable.
went like X, 2
3.
and 1 or
Yeah,
X3, yeah,
X 2 and
which
1, yeah.
is an acceptable bubble because we're like locking in the magic number of 10 and 2.
Exactly.
I like that a lot, actually. We could
Yeah,
even do
Yeah.
the same number of rounds and bubble at 60.
exactly.
This
Like,
is my idea.
if you think about, like, we get to see a lot of percentages.
Yeah.
We get to see a lot of percentages, and what we know is that, like, over the course of hundreds, if not thousands of games, getting like a 65 to 75% win rate is good, right? In order to do well at one of these tournaments, you have to be above 80%,
Mhm.
right? 10-2 is above 80%. And so it's that means you're playing out of your mind slash drawing out of your mind, and it's like no mistake that you got that record. So like I get so like even a 9-3 record or 9-2-1 record is absolutely fantastic. And if they get a chance at the title, that's freaking awesome.
Great, yeah. Okay, I feel like we've talked about potential solutions. I think we've addressed what they've done with the problem, how we feel about it. I think it's time to move on.
Yep. Let's
Great.
do it.
Okay, next bullet point we have is today tickets went on sale for DLC Richmond, the second North American DLC. They went on sale at 1 o'clock here. Let's just do this. I did not get a ticket.
I got a ticket.
I got a ticket like 25 minutes in.
Yeah, and Ryan did also get a ticket.
Yeah.
Um, here's what I'll say on this second wave of DLCs. I'm pretty confident sitting here right now that I'm going to get a ticket because like they trickle release them as they like go back into the system.
It honestly is about how bad you want it.
I want it pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, do we need to talk a lot about? So it was on Eventbrite. Here's what I'll say. At least this time, it was kind of all on one place that was easy to predict. The answer this time was the Eventbrite app. On the app, the tickets
Yeah,
seemed to be
the
available.
website wasn't running good. At least they started on time and not early this time.
Yeah.
Like I'll give that to them.
The website didn't even work.
The website didn't work. You had to do it on the app.
Yep. And
Apple Pay was having issues.
oh yeah, you have an Apple Pay, right?
Yeah. So, and I saw other people were posting on Twitter. So going through it with Apple Pay, I got all the way through the cart. I'm on minute still one. It hasn't even gone over. I'm like, oh, I got it. This is good. I go through Apple Pay. It's doing the loading thing, and then I was like, and then it failed.
What's crazy is I got through it, but mine happened literally in the first minute.
Yeah, I was still on the 0 minute, or like it hadn't ticked over, and then I was like, okay, what do I do? I tried to put in a credit card number. It wouldn't let me do anything. You try to like go back to Apple Pay, doesn't let you do anything. Apparently, a lot of people did PayPal.
Yeah,
And
PayPal was the.
I
big
made the
winner.
mistake. This is where I make a mistake.
Yeah.
I close out. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna like refresh really quick. We're on minute 2 now, so I don't do the PayPal option, and I go ahead and close it out, and then I lose my ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as you refresh, you're done.
So,
Yeah.
so I picked up a job at a fast food restaurant recently since I got laid off from my previous job. So I had like kind of only 2 minutes that I stretched to 10. And when I got back, everyone was like, "Where were you?" So I kind of represent that I can't refresh that page for 15 minutes. I was there from 1 o'clock to 1:10 refreshing the page. And at that point I had to be like, I gotta get back to work. I
Yeah.
don't have all day to do this. A lot of people are in that spot. And so the pitched solution from the community today was that what if it was a lottery system? So you pick up your number or whatever, and then you get an email if you made it in, and then you get an email if you ever make it in. Otherwise, you're on the wait list. What do you guys think about a system like that?
I've never won a lottery in my life.
Me neither. I do really
I
good.
have won lotteries. Of
He just
course.
said he just used plural.
That was
um,
insane.
yeah, I've always been relatively like lucky.
Raffles and lotteries, I consider do not plays, basically.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I like gambling is
Mm.
because I have had those validations. I do actually really like the idea. I know that the people are gonna have strong opinions about this topic. You guys should comment about what you think of like a lottery system. But I think that it's actually the most fair, similar to a lot of the other things we talk about. We want to remove like agency that's like, okay, somebody can like game the system. A lottery prevents a lot of this botting things. People are getting 4, 6, they're getting like lots of tickets that they then distribute among the people that, and that's great. But I think it's more fair if it's just a lottery system. And
Lottery's not fair. Lottery is not fair.
All right.
tell, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
hot take.
Pi-
Why isn't a
pitch
lottery
it.
fair?
I'll tell you why lotteries are not fair. Um, okay, it's kind of complicated, but let me just get in an order. Um, yeah, lottery system is something free to sign up for.
Yeah,
So I believe that everybody who can sign up will sign up. So
sure.
it's all about who gets the most signups. So it's a gamified thing as well. Um, I also think that it creates a much more of a situation where people who get lottery tickets are not necessarily people.
Mm.
So we just end up in another situation of like it becomes harder to figure out who actually wants and who doesn't, right? Like I'll give you an example. For Riftbound, there's a tournament coming up in Houston. And I thought to myself, I can like do the whole rat race thing that we were doing for Lorcana for Riftbound. But I legit was like, the anxiety I get from that is too much. I'm not gonna try, even though I would love to play in this tournament. But it weeded me out. And I love card games. Like
Mm.
I love Riftbound, I love Lorcana, and I didn't get in the rat race because I
And
knew
so
that this sign up was coming up.
you like that it weeded you out.
Yeah. I don't have a ticket for it. I'm like now as it gets closer, I'm like, dang, I wish I had a ticket. I would go. So what ended up happening in that situation was I wasn't willing to go into war for that. But if I knew it was a lottery system, it just becomes let's sign up for as many. But in this, I really feel like we have this battle of if you really want to go, you refresh that page every single day, we'll get in. Right? Since season one, that's been the case. You didn't have a ticket, you got a ticket. You didn't have a ticket, got a ticket.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
I didn't have a ticket, I got a ticket.
So we're wanting to reward basically the grinders or the people who are like really because you have to be on. We're talking about you got to be on
Every day.
sub minute, and then now you got to be checking if you're trying to get people refunding tickets and stuff for the next
So
whatever
I
month
love
or
that.
two.
We would like on when Milwaukee was happening, I would see tweets like leading up to Milwaukee. People are like, "Oh, I was just refreshing the page and there was a ticket or there were 2 tickets or 4 tickets or whatever." And I like that if you want it bad enough, it's possible that it'll come to you.
um so here's the thing.
Mhm.
We had a really similar argument recently, and it had to do with takesies backsies. Basically, people decided that there is like a skill thing about takesies. right? The rule affects me less than it affects everyone else because I don't make those types of mistakes and I'm used to mapping everything out in my head before I start doing them. And so that rule was disadvantageous to me. But the community decided that that's not where we wanted the skill to be in the game. We wanted the players to be able to make their decisions. I am saying that I don't think that I want there to be a skill element in getting a ticket to the tournament. So for me, it makes sense that if takesies backsies were taken out, which hurts me, this is one where I'm on the other side, right? I'm terrible at getting these tickets. I mean, I am. I'm like 1 for 7 or what. You don't count Singapore. If you do count Singapore, I'm like 2 for 8. It's not that much better. I'm terrible at getting these tickets. And I'm saying I don't think there should be a skill element in getting a ticket to the tournament. So how come I don't get the rules changed to help me out, right? Because the Takesies Backsies was a huge hit for me. I mean, we're not going to talk about it, but like a big part of my Magic game was I could make people make mistakes really easily by like looking at them or talking while they're playing. And now that's like not a part of the game anymore, which is fine. But if we're gonna like arbitrate where we want skill to be, I think it's like a little lame that some people are really good at getting tickets to DLC and I'm not, and I feel like I want a system that works better for me. And I think lottery would be better for me.
At what point do we think that events are gonna get big enough? I right now, Richmond not scaled up. We don't know if the final DLC season 2 is gonna be, double capacity. Do we think that these are just gonna always sell out? Like, is there a certain threshold where we're like, "Alright, these are gonna actually stop selling out to where you can just get a ticket if you want a ticket?"
Yeah, there'll be a drop off. It's it's actually I think that the fact that these events are so sought after is definitely making it people who are on the fence of going, they're like willing to take.
It becomes this kind of, like, chasing the dragon, like, "Oh, man, like, if I can get a ticket, I gotta go."
They
It's like
they basically made like Supreme for card game.
Cool.
Supreme drops for
Yeah,
card
yeah,
game.
yeah. Hype beast drops
Yeah,
for card game. I
yeah.
get it.
So,
Yeah, and
so
I'm saying that I
So,
just
but I do want to say, I mean, I would rather prefer if everybody could just get a ticket and
oh,
they could do maximum capacity. I do think that's a better world. And the problem I would like to get into is how do we have 10,000 people DLCs? Is it still a top 32 cut? And it's all only 12 and O's,
you divide everybody into
and 12 and O's are some of the 12 and O's are missing.
you divide the DLC into flights of 2048 players. Those players all play down to their top 8, and then that forms the top 30.
Yeah, but you realize that you're gonna have some 12 O's.
is
Yeah, they're gonna
20
make it.
No, that are missing.
No. If
No,
you
what
do
it
20 if you do a
Oh,
2038
you'll
and they
have
would
get
it
down to their
w
top 8,
if
you're
in
good.
it but if you did a how big were the Magic events?
At maximum 2,000.
So, what if you did the whatever 13 and
I mean, they had like
2?
the Vegas one with
Oh, the Vegas one was like
and
3,600
they did like
players.
triple
They broke it
triple
up into
DLC
3
thing.
tournaments, yeah.
That was the best way to do it for sure.
That's what I'm saying they're gonna do. On if they have a 10,000 person DLC, you break it up into flights of a 28, and you just have
5
those little
they're
tournaments
gonna
that
run
leads into a bigger one.
5 tournaments?
The thing is, we
That'd
just
be
don't have like
crazy.
the judge we don't have a lot of the resources that Magic has built over 30, almost 40 years.
You know, when we got into this game, that was like not the tune. Everyone was like, "This is gonna be the Disney one. That means they're gonna have all
This
this
is just season 2.
money."
That's it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna scale.
I think it will scale. I think they will definitely be able to scale. It's just gonna take a little bit of time. And I would love to fast forward to the point that we're trying to figure out that this problem rather than the problem which we have right now, which everybody doesn't get to play.
Definitely.
And the weird part is like, like couples and families have to break up in terms of like they're like, my father got in, but my son and my wife and my daughter, all of them didn't get in. And you're like, oh,
Oh, you're having a vacation all by yourself. All right. We are pretty close to time, but we gotta cover the metagame a little bit.
Okay,
yeah, listen.
let's talk about the metagame. All right, so we had 2 tournaments, one mid-sized one and one bigger one. There was the 10K, that had 54 players. We had Blue Steel coming out on top there. Top eight was three blue steel, two blue green, one purple steel, one yellow green, and Mo. Shout out to him with green purple in the
And I've
top
heard
eight.
that deck is fantastic.
Mhm.
And then for CardCon, this is the bigger one. You had 226 players. This was a CCQ. Blue Green was able to take it down versus Blurple. There was only one Blurple in the top eight, made it to the finals. There were three Blue Green, one Blue Steel, one Purple Steel, and two Yellow Green. So very similar color spreads across both tournaments.
So what can we learn from this? Basically, we have new pillars of the format. Kind of same as the old pillars, but there's some changes that people really like, by the way.
Yeah, I still feel like this isn't a DLC level event. And I think that one sad part about the 10K was it wasn't a CCQ. I think that every event that's a 10K could become a CCQ, to be honest. Like,
Mm.
I just think that right now it's like it helps the local stores. Like, I went to the last Sharp Game event. I ended up winning it with Jafar Wheel. And I think my top four opponent, I think his name is Aiden, won the tournament with super happy for him. But I don't know why the event was smaller, but they put up more prizing.
Yeah.
But it really has to do with who got the CCQ and who didn't. And I'm like, if a store um like Sharp Gaming is putting up like 10K plus, you got like we got like Ravensburgers really should consider um like helping those stores. And when I went to the one that I did, they weren't really CC weren't CCQs at all. So there wasn't this like rat race of like who has a CCQ, and sometimes the CCQs don't even have any good pricing at all besides the
Which is kind of crazy.
right. Wasn't there like a 900% with
I think.
that was set nine?
Oh yeah, yeah. There was a really, really big tournament.
The pillars of the format. We got blue steel, blue green, purple steel, and there was a lot of dogs in there. You said yellow green a couple
There's
times.
two dogs that top aided one.
Yeah, there was two dogs in one and one dogs in the other. So in both top eights, dogs was able to make it in.
Yeah, but again, Sharp Gaming had a smaller turnout, right? And that really affects like the amount of rounds that you need to win in order to make it to top eight.
Sure. I'm not saying this is like a definitive list of the
Oh
metagame.
yeah,
I'm just trying to get your read on what you think. We always do pillars.
yeah. I do think that dogs is definitely alive, and I think that uh, what's his name? Uh,
Tiago Saporito,
no, Ursula
Mowgli.
Mowgli. Yes, Mowgli has definitely helped the Agra archetype a lot.
Hmm.
So I think Amber Steel and dogs is still tier one.
Even though spooky sight prowls among them.
The problem is that all the spooky site players keep cutting their spooky sites in order to be good be good against the other blue decks.
Great.
So it's like this cyclical event that we talked about before that they keep cutting them, becoming better in the mirror, and then putting them back in when the aggro decks come back. You're always losing to one or the other, right? So dogs, amber steel. Then we got purple steel, which is supposed to be the middle ground.
Yeah.
And I think that red purple is in that conversation now.
Of middle ground.
Yep, red
Okay.
purple and purple steel are basically this holding the same spot. And then so like if you have aggro on the right side and on the left side we have control. On the right side was dogs, most extreme, amber steel, purple steel, uh red purple.
Okay.
And then we move over to the left and we have
Blue steel.
blue steel, then blurple, and then blue green.
Green at the most.
Yep, at the yeah. I mean, they try to control your hand sometimes. They try to control your board,
Do
and they
you
play the biggest stuff.
do you think it's a do you think I mean early on impressions of the format to me it seems good. People are having fun playing. Power
But
levels at a good
I
level.
played in a pre-release, and a lot of people had a ton of fun, like playing with the starter decks and stuff. And obviously, that's not to the constructed bit, but I think it is important that like opening packs, people had a ton of fun playing this set. I think that I saw some people playing limited, and the limited seemed to be a little bit more fun this go around. So I think that this set and some of the higher power cards are a lot of fun to play with. We saw that even in you guys will get to see it maybe the day after this releases, but we got to see some of the higher power like cards when you guys were playing in the match.
Yeah, we're testing out some like a new series. Jeremy and I played a match against each other, recorded it, and it's gonna go up tomorrow. And I played blue steel, Jeremy played purple steel,
Yeah.
and kind of just like a battle series that we want to work on and improve. So make sure you guys check it out tomorrow. And yeah, we'll also we'll put the deck list in the description of that video that comes out tomorrow. Yep.
Great. Right.
The cards are super fun to play. I will say that the cards in your deck matter more than they did last set, right? You basically had like 55 cards locked in with whatever color combination you were playing, and you had to decide what you wanted to beat and what you wanted to lose to. And then you went into the tournament and you either played against what you wanted to play against or didn't play against what you wanted and lost. And then now it's more so it's a bit different, right? What do I mean by it's a bit different? Um, you have instead of 5 slots, you have more so like 10 to 15 slots, right? Because not every person is playing 4 spooky sites, which we originally were speculating. Because spooky site is not be prepared. Be prepared is always good, basically. And spooky site is way more conditional, and you can punish it by just playing cards that cost 4 or greater. And so we're like this is much healthier, right? If you think that this format and the last format, that 9 versus that 10 were the same, they are completely different. And this is so much healthier because we have so many more choices of building the deck a little bit differently. But in the grand scheme of all of Lorcana or card games in general, set 9 and set 10 are still more similar than not in the sense that we're probably gonna have like, a rock, paper, scissors to uh, you know, rocket, like
Yeah.
so it's most likely gonna be like 5 top tier decks, and we'll see if there's something else that can break in.
All right. That's gonna have to do it for the metagame this week. We'll talk a lot more about the metagame next week as we get a few more results and we really lock in what we're going to play in anticipation of the Charlie's tournament.
Yeah.
Coming up soon, guys. Get your Charlies ready.
And that's
Everyone,
a CCQ, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is.
Yeah.
The one that I top forward wasn't a CCQ. The one that I
This
am
one.
gonna win is a CCQ. Okay, great. All right, let's wrap it all up. I'm gonna go first, guys. My name is Mox Jeremy. If you want to see any more of me, follow me on Twitter at MOXJEREMY. On Twitter, I do a space every Thursday mornings at 7, where you can come on and give us your opinion on stuff. Nathan, where can they find you?
They can find me on X at Nathan Tripp, 2 P's and an E, and at the Bravers Bakery for some cookie run stuff
On TikTok?
on TikTok or YouTube.
All right, great. And Sam, where can they find you?
You guys are already here. Just make sure to check out the video tomorrow and let us know like how we can improve, right? As you may have noticed in this channel, like we're really paying attention to what you guys say, and we want to make this a valuable resource for everybody. And yeah, we don't take it for granted. Thank you.
Bye.
Peace.